Hello, welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Alexis. I am a disabled powerlifter from Pennsylvania. Today I will be reviewing the community collection, and I am so excited to present this and very honored and just feel like we made it. The community collection has a description here, but I do want to just really express and hit home the gratitude that I have to the Buffbunny collection community. If a lot of customers complain that, hey, there's not enough, side lat boob coverage on a bra, or the strap isn't great, it digs into the, traps, the design team and the whole Buffbunny collection team is really great at listening to customer feedback, whether it be in like customer reviews on the actual Buffbunny collection website. But really what was the bread and butter of this collection was customer feedback from Discord that the Buffbunny collection used to host. And I think one of the greatest things about the Discord was being able to hear customers and their great ideas. So there may be a bra that you love, but you wish that it had just a little bit more coverage, or there may be a bra that you wish would turn into a like full-length tank top or something inspired by that. So I think to be able to have a voice, with the company, with the designs, and to have the company actually listen is an incredible thing that I really don't know of many activewear companies that would make an entire collection based off of customer feedback. So I just want to say that I feel very humbled, very honored to present this, review for these pieces. And I just want to thank all of the fans, all of the Buffbunny collection community members, athletes, team members, design team, like everyone who was involved in creating these pieces. And I'm excited because there's some in here that are just so stinking good. Here are the colorways for this collection. We have a wide variety of bright colors as well as a few prints that have come back and restocked, and then there are definitely fit updates to a lot of the pieces, which I will go over later in the video. As always, my measurements are listed in the description box below, and there are timestamps so that way you can skip around to like your favorite item. I always do a sheerness bent over test with dark colored granny panties because I truly believe that we work very hard for our money, and I want y'all to know exactly the items that you are getting. So that's why I also have the up close like perspective, because I want you to view the items as if you're holding them and inspecting them in front of yourself. But here is the sheerness test for all the bottoms in this collection. And I want to thank every single one of you who watches this video, because you just watching this review video or liking it or commenting on it or sharing it really helps me as a Buffbunny collection athlete. You can also use my athlete code LEXI, L-E-X-I, at checkout on any of your Buffbunny collection purchases to save 10% and also give me 10% commission. But it's not about the money. It really is letting the team know that my support and my growth is growing. So I would greatly appreciate any kind of support that you can lend to me. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up, we have the new-ish and improved Airbrush Maraschino sports bra. This is updated from its original form, where there was a better increase in lat coverage and kind of tucking in the lats. The bra shelf coverage in the front was also increased, and it does feature a large keyhole opening in the back, a contrasting colored liner. So for the keyhole opening, it's a little bit wider compared to the arm opening and the neckline opening. Bust pads that are removable from the inside. The longer line sports bra, that longer line is actually, elastic band is nice and thin and wide, that is encased with the airbrush fabric, and it actually stretches pretty well. Because it is stitched onto the base of the bra, it allows just a tiny bit more compression and support, and that elastic band goes all throughout the entire bottom of the sports bra. Reflective Buffbunny emblem. Contrasting fabric is airbrush fabric, a different color, and throughout the opening of the keyhole there's actually a really thin, clear, kind of plasticky, stretchy elastic, and where this airbrush fabric was sewn onto the base of the bra, and it allows for a little bit more structure and durability for that opening. That way the keyhole opening won't just stretch out when you put it on. So the contrast liner that goes all throughout the armhole opening and then the neckline is nice and simple. It's the airbrush fabric folded onto itself in half. The thread stitch quality is a little bit robust, and it actually holds in place pretty well, doesn't stretch too much. So I think that's great because this is going to form around the neckline and kind of hold you into place. The inside of the sports bra, this is actually doubly lined all throughout. The bra shelf separator there, stitch at the top so they don't move around too much. And the bust pads are removable from a slit on the side. And then in the back, this is doubly lined, so all throughout. And then that layer was sewn on here to give you that contrasting. I mean, the stitch quality is super nice throughout this, and those are kind of the only details I can show you. The Story of Motherhood collection. This is the last airbrush fabric sports bra that we've seen. The long line bottom is just a little bit shorter. The rise height side is going to be about the same. And for the back, these are vastly different. General measurements, the bottom band is coming in at around 13 inches wide, around 4.5 inches tall, about 6 inches high, about 4 inches high for the actual lat coverage part, at about 10.5 inches. This is pretty comfortable. I'm actually really impressed with the overall fit. Doing the jump test on me with my body type, having like a wider upper body frame and a pretty flat chest profile, this is fitting more like a light to medium compression and support sports bra. A great amount of bra shelf coverage. I do have some gaping. The straps are really comfortable, fairly stretchy. They don't dig into my neck, they're not uncomfortable. Really great amount of side lat coverage. It almost does cut into my armpit just a little bit, so just kind of keep that in mind, that I think it has a lot of side bust coverage. But in the back, I love that keyhole opening. I think it is so flattering. I like how wide the contrast like liner to that keyhole is. I think it just adds so much dimension to it. The other side, things I do notice right off the bat is that the waistband keeps rolling up on me. In terms of fabric durability, airbrush fabric is very durable. It does not pill. It does show sweat. It's definitely large and small bust friendly, but this is true to size. I would not recommend sizing down because I think if you do, the bottom band is just going to be a little bit too snug. And I think if you size up, then you're not going to have enough support in the bust area. Overall, I would have to rank this like a 9, potentially 8.5 out of 10. I really like it, but I do think that the gaping is not in my preference. My scoring is based off of the gaping for my personal body type. The second thing I'm not in preference for is there's actually a little bit too much lat coverage and side coverage, because as I'm moving around in my apartment, this is kind of digging into my side. So it's just not exactly in my preference, but it doesn't bother me too much, but I notice it. And then the third thing I'm not in preference for is this waistband just keeps on rolling up and like bunching up on me. I really would love to see this come back in a short line version, and I would highly recommend it. I think it's going to look really great on a lot of different body types. This next one is so good. Y'all voted and the Buffbunny collection team made it so that we could have the Revolution sports bra strappy back design with the candy wrap sports bra to create the Candy Wrap Revolution sports bra. Right off the bat, this Newbury fabric feels different than the OG Newbury fabric and the Newbury fabric that we've been feeling as of late, depending on the color that you get. So this Nile print is a little bit more dense and compressive compared to the like tie-dye sports bra. Removable bust pads on the inside of the bra, longer line sports bra. The neckline, beautiful crossover candy wrap detailing. And then in the back, it is the Revolution sports bra, multi-crossover kind of lattice structured strappy back design. A slight U shape with a silicone Buffbunny emblem. Crossover is like a panel that is tapered into a strap that is sewn into the side, and it creates this nice like crossover draping feature. If I move those crossovers up, you can kind of see it is a longer line band, 3 straps on each side, and they cross over, dyed to match metal hardware to keep all of those straps together. There is an elastic band in the back that it only starts on the side and runs throughout the back. That elastic band will help hold this into place. It is soft, it is brushed, and it is sewn right on top of the seam where the 2 pieces of fabric are combined. But for the front end of the sports bra, there is no elastic band. This is actually slightly different than the regular candy wrap because you have cup pad shaping, and that way the cup pads don't move around too much. A slit on the side for the bra pads to be removed, and other than that, there's really no other details I can go over for this bra. Comparisons, I have the Candy Wrap sports bra that restocked in the summer sale, I believe. The coverage for the size is going to be about the same. They are the same rise height. On the inside has a built-in kind of stitch seam separator for the cup pads. So the original, you have these darts on the inside and there's no stitching to segregate the buzz pad from moving around. It's one whole bra shelf liner. So that's a really cool improvement that the team made. Of course, the bras are going to be significantly different as the Candy Wrap sports bra, different strappy back design compared to the Revolution. Again, the Revolution sports bra does contain an elastic band that is brushed and it goes all throughout the bottom of the sports bra. However, for the Revolution Candy Wrap sports bra, it stops at the side, and then in the front, it's truly like more of the Candy Wrap design. The metal hardware, whereas this one is not dyed to match, but for the Revolution Candy Wrap, it is dyed to match. The new Candy Wrap Revolution sports bra is just going to be about half an inch higher in rise height for this back panel compared to the original. I did also get the purple swirl print, and I just wanted to point out that the original purple swirl print for the Revolution sports bra is going to be almost exactly the same. I definitely can tell the fabric feel difference between these two. So this is the OG Nubray fabric. This is more of the lighter, stretchier version of Nubray fabric. Snap collection stretch, it's a lot more stretchier. It's a little bit more light compression and support compared to the OG Nubray fabric. However, the Nile print does feel a little bit more dense and compressive. That could be because this fabric is really a white base that dye was added onto. So I just wanted to point that out because the purple swirl leggings also feel a lot more stretchy and thinner, similar to the Snack Collection Nubray fabric that we felt last year. Nile print for the leggings feels a lot more medium compression and support. So you're going to see the similarities with the sports bra differences in the colors and prints as well. And for general measurements, the bottom is coming in at about 13.5 inches, about 5.5 inches, about 6.5 inches. The back total rise height is about 4.5 inches, maybe 1 1/4 inch wide. I definitely feel the support for this coming from the back with that lattice multi-crossover Revolution sports bra design, and that elastic band that runs through the bottom adds more support and kind of pulls the bra from the front back, if that makes any sense. Definitely a medium support. Regular Candy Wrap sports bra are like flat, wide, but they stretch pretty good. So I feel like they never give me this much support. Have a little bit of rolling in the front. Great on the traps. I don't feel like it's digging in. Have a great amount of side lat coverage and side boob coverage, which I really love about this with a wide upper body frame and a pretty flat chest profile. This is still pretty flattering because of that draping and candy wrap over design. I think it gives a little bit more oomph to the front area. And I don't have any gaping in this, which is so good. In terms of fabric durability, Nubray fabric in its most recent form does pill very slightly. The Nile Hustle print for sweat concealing, I think this is going to be pretty good because of the print and because this is slightly darker. But I think for the purple swirl, pretty good at sweat concealing because of the print. It's definitely large and small bust friendly, so I think this really is a bra that could fit everybody. Fit true to size because the back, again, just kind of pulls the front a little bit and just fits super well. So overall, I would have to rank this Candy Wrap Revolution sports bra a 9 out of 10, and the only reason why this loses 2 half points for me and my personal preferences is because number one, I wish that the elastic band that runs throughout the bottom back also ran throughout the front. See, it stops on the side because I think it would lend the front just a little bit more support. When I saw the PDF, I was really hoping we would see an elastic band go up throughout the front as well, just to give you a little bit of support and lift. And then the second thing I'm not really in preference for is the fabric inconsistency. So this Nile Hustle feels medium compression support and it's great. But then the purple Hustle, I think because it's a white base and the dye was added on top, it just feels more brushed and stretchier and thinner. And I'm not really down with that. Y'all know me, I'm very particular about my fabrics. I won't take off a half point for this, but the other thing that I noticed that I'm not in preference for is that it does roll up in the front with the way that this is structured on the side and that elastic band, you know, back here. This does stay more in place on the sides, whereas the other candy wrap does roll up on the sides as well. So it's not worth me taking off a half point, but it's something that I just want to point out to y'all. Overall, I would highly recommend trying this sports bra out. I think it is everything the fans wanted and voted for. Buff Bunny Collection community members did such a great job just making a hybrid, combining the two top-selling sports bras and beloved, you know, designs from Buff Bunny Collection and making them into one. And I'm very happy with this, and I can definitely see myself wearing this a lot. Be right back because I'm definitely going to get the other two colors, and yeah, I'm very happy with it. Next up, we have the Halo Iris Tank, and this is a revamp of the original Iris Tank, but now the bottom opening was decreased a little bit to reduce the volume, and this is now of the Halo fabric. I want to point out some key features for this, where in the front is a slight rounded hemline. The crossover detailing does have stitching right where the fabric crosses over, and that allows it not to open up all the way and just kind of keep that shape. And of a keyhole opening at the very top of the back. Very large opening for the arms. On the front side of it, high neckline, wider shoulder straps. We have a stitched Buff Bunny emblem, and I want to say that this Halo fabric does feel like the long sleeve Halo baby tees that we just saw. It doesn't feel like the original Halo fabric, so this feels slightly more dense, which I'm totally okay with. I don't have the original tank top, so there's really not a whole lot that I can compare this to. General measurements, the front is measuring in pretty close to 12.5 inches. Your shoulder straps are measuring in at about 2.5 inches wide and at about 6 inches height. So the back panel does change in its like width as we go throughout, you know, the back. Side rise height is coming in at about 10 inches high. And I do have a longer torso, and this is coming in below hip length, like toward the bottom of my hip, so it is a good length, because if I were to wear the everyday Airbrush contrast leggings, you'd be able to see that contrasting stitch detail with this top. I think the detailing with a little bit of like stitching on the top crossover parts just to keep it in place so that way it doesn't like completely spread apart, I think is a really nice touch. I am wearing the Revolution candy wrap. How cute and, you know, mix and matchy you could be with this whole collection. But the Halo fabric is super nice and lightweight. It is slinky. It does wrinkle pretty easily though. In terms of fabric durability, it is a delicate fabric. It does snag and it will like catch and pill. It will show sweat in the lighter colors, but it will dry sweat pretty fast because it's such a lightweight fabric feel. So definitely stay true to size. I would not recommend sizing up because it would just look overly flowy. I wouldn't recommend sizing down because I feel like it would just not fit super well in the back area, and then it wouldn't drape maybe as nice and flowy. Overall, I would rank this at 10 out of 10 because it's exactly as described and a really nice little pump cover to throw on over your sports bra. I wouldn't really change anything about it, so I think it is exactly as described and definitely worth giving a try. Next up, we have the Antisocial Lifting Club long sleeve t-shirt. This is 100% cotton, classic unisex t-shirt sizing, and there is no changes to these compared to the Strong Girls Lifting Club t-shirt that we just saw in the previous launch. This is my favorite woven style from Buff Bunny Collection. The older t-shirts from Buff Bunny Collection were more of a dense cotton feel, and the cotton wasn't like stretchy, whereas the newer feel more stretchy. Jersey material at the neckline, which makes this pretty stretchy and easy to put on over your head without disrupting your makeup, is also found in the cuffs, so they're nice and soft and stretchy. But at the very bottom of the t-shirt, there is none of that jersey material. I love the oversized fit. Their t-shirt quality game has really improved. The Antisocial Lifting Club font is very subtle. The length overall is perfect, maybe a quarter of an inch longer compared to the size extra large. Their cotton t-shirts are very high quality, and I would highly recommend trying them if you have not already. Definitely worth it. This is the full length Cloud zip up hoodie. It is an oversized look. It does feature some front pockets with a hidden mesh pocket on the inside just to protect like your phone or your keys that you put. Drop shoulder designs. The hoodie does not have any drawstrings. It's oversized look, metal hardware dyed to match with a engraved emblem, and then some ribbed material at the top just to kind of hide the zipper opening. Ribbed material is also going to be seen on the cuffs. It's very soft, it's stretchy. See that for the bottom. These are not darts. It's the fabric kind of rouged. When you stretch this out, you're not going to see like those lines. A Buffbunny collection embroidery on the left sleeve. The pockets have a nice finish edge work, and then the stitch quality is always great from Buffbunny collection. In the back, it's really nice and simple. For comparisons, I have the Threads full length zip up hoodie. The Cloud hoodie is bigger in the arm area, shorter compared to this one. It's more of a straight fit, whereas the Cloud one is more of a tapered in fit. I guess I really like green. This is the Plush fleece fabric cropped hoodie. The sleeve opening width is going to be larger for the Cloud, tapered in, but it is a little bit shorter in length compared to the Cloud hoodie. The difference between the fabrics. So the Threads fabric is going to be like your most lighter weight, non-stretch, really simple. The Cloud fabric, super finely brushed, and it's pretty stretchy. And what's nice about the Cloud fabric is that when you stretch it out, it'll actually like bounce back into place. So especially for the knee areas of the jogger pants, that's a really nice feature. The Plush fleece is like a fleece blanket in a hoodie form, and this is amazing. The Threads and then the Cloud is more year-round. Plush fleece is definitely more for the winter. And for general measurements, the bottom opening is coming in at about 19.5 or 20 inches, at around 9.5 inches, about 21.5 inches, and at around 12.5 inches at about 21.5 inches. Height from the hood to the bottom is coming in at around 23 inches. I have my hair up in like a high ponytail, but I just want to show y'all how big the hood is. I do have a longer torso, so it's right at like middle of my hip, maybe lower belly area, but as soon as I lift up my arms, it's more of a cropped, and it just kind of sits in the natural smaller part of my waist. Super, super cozy. The sleeves are oversized, so for me, they're long enough to cover my fingers and my hands. Oh, that mesh inner liner is great to keep your phone like in place, like lower belly region, and then just how stretchy that bottom can be because of that jersey fabric. The regular Cloud joggers crotch area, you can see that it has pilled quite a bit from, wearing them a lot. So I do want to point out that Cloud fabric can pill. It does show sweat in the lighter color, but in the black, obviously you're not going to see it. It's not going to wick away sweat fast because it's a very like brushed, warm inside feel. And true to size, you could size down if you wanted to have maybe a tiny bit more of a cropped fit or a little bit of a tighter fit. Overall, I would have to rank this a 9.5 out of 10. I love it. I'm very happy with this Cloud full-length zip-up hoodie. The only thing that I'm not in preference for and that I will take away half point is that I wish the hoodie did have drawstrings. Next up, we have the Legacy pocket leggings. No front rise seam, slight rounded waistband, and I want to go over the details for the pockets. It is pretty big. It can fit this portable charger that I have. It is bonded, so it's the fabric folded in onto itself and has adhesive there to keep it into place. That way it doesn't feel super bulky and it stretches with the fabric. The pocket is pretty long where it tapers down into the knee area. The waistband isn't super tapered in. The waistband does not have any top stitch seams. It's simply the fabric folded in half and onto itself. A silicone Buffbunny emblem. The glute rise is that nice simple like wider stitch seam. I think part of the reason why I'm so picky with fabrics is because I have a brother who is severely autistic, and whenever I'm buying him clothing or blankets, like a weighted blanket and whatnot, he's very particular about his fabrics. And growing up, dressing him and assisting him, I always have to keep in mind fabric feel. So I think like that mindfulness is why I'm so picky with fabrics. And because I want something to be exactly described as it is. So I will say that this Newbury fabric does not feel like the Revolution sports bra with the OG Newbury fabric. And you can just see kind of how dense it is compared to the leggings, and these are just crazy stretchy. These leggings feel more like the Snack Collection Newbury fabric, very stretchy and lightweight and a little bit more sheer compared to the OG. I also want to point out that this pair feels a lot different compared to Nile print pair. If I stretch these out, you can just kind of see the difference that The white base pair is a lot thinner and stretchier compared to the blue Nile. I feel more like the Newbury fabric that we've been seeing of recent. So I need to point that stuff out because I'm very particular about my own fabrics because of my, experience. I do have a pair of legacy pocket leggings in all black, but those are a size medium and these are size large. So I don't really know if a comparison between the two is going to be like accurate. So I'm just going to do general measurements from the crotch gusset all the way to the top of the waistband, under 10.5 inches. Waistband rise height is 4.5 inches. Pocket width about 4.5-ish inches. The length of the pocket is 15.5 inches. From the crotch gusset to the very top in the back, it's going to be close to 13 inches. And then that waistband for the back is going to come in at around 5 inches. The width at the thigh is going to come in at around 9 inches. These are feeling light compression in the thigh area. They're pretty stretchy. They do feel roomy on my body type at the top of the waist. Say that I have a very slight camel toe in these where the purple swirl print is hitting. I think these are great at camouflaging cellulite. I have thicker cellulite on this side, and also I think the pocket adds a little bit of density on the side and kind of pulls the fabric, if you will. So I think it sits really nicely on my cellulite. I don't think you can really tell it's there. And then on this side, I don't have as much cellulite, but it definitely camouflages it well with the print. It does pill slightly, but I have noticed with my snack collection shorts iteration that it pills a little bit more because it feels a little bit more brushed. Printed colors camouflage sweat pretty good. Newbury fabric does wick away sweat pretty well. The waistband does not roll down, I think just because it's so roomy up top. And the pockets are pretty big and spacious and stretchy because of the materials. In terms of sizing, I would say stay true to size. I would recommend maybe sizing down, but if you size down, you could risk these being a little bit more sheer. Because it's a white base with a print edit over it, they're already like pretty sheer. But if you size down, make sure that you're wearing skin toned underwear or a thong underneath. That way you won't see the color of your underwear through these. Focusing on the purple swirl print, I'm going to have to give these an 8.5 out of 10 for me and my personal preferences, because number one thing that it's just not there for me is the fabric inconsistency. Number two, they're pretty sheer. And then the waistband is just a little bit too big for me. I kind of wish that with this color, it would have been tapered in a little bit because I don't have really any compression or support. So I feel like these are sitting more like a light compression and support legging. The Nile Hustle print just look a little bit more compressive. And then the waistband, it's not nearly as stretchy. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I definitely can feel it. I can see it pretty well and being cellulite friendly because of the print. I would rank these higher than the purple swirl because they're not nearly as sheer. They're not nearly as stretchy. They don't feel as brushed as the purple swirl. And I hope to see this come back in a darker print color. Next up, we have the Everyday Airbrush Pocket Legging. The team describes the fit updates as an increased topped waist, added contour lines in the waistband. The waistband is pretty tapered in. It does not have a top stitch seam. It is simply the fabric folded in half and onto itself, a slightly rounded bottom stitch seam, and then a V-shaped stitch seam there. And then those double stitch seams go into the back, deep V glute contouring. The contouring stitch seam in the back, reflective Buffbunny emblem. The glute rise stitch seam, wider, lace flat. It's just this nice simple one. From the side view, the contouring stitch seams for the front and the back allow this to create pockets. The pockets are nice because they have bonded material where adhesive in order to hold that into place rather than a stitch seam. So that allows the airbrush fabric to really stretch but also have a little bit of durability at the top of the pocket. They do go down really far because of the contouring. I kind of wish that the pocket would have a cutoff. That way nothing gets really far deep down there. Runs and tapers down. And about the knee length, that's going to go into a singular stitch seam that runs to the bottom. The bottom of the pant legs do have that contrasting colored stitch seam as well, and they are stretchy, but if you have wider ankles like me, I did find that the airbrush leggings from the Story of Motherhood collection were just a little too snug in the ankles. Slick performance feeling fabric. And for comparisons, I have the latest airbrush leggings from the Story of Motherhood collection, wider, more robust stitch quality, and that is very different compared to the new airbrush, where then the contouring is a little bit wider, almost looks like an hourglass shape from the side, and then for this one it really tapers down. The back of course differs. Comparing the waistband for both of these, if I line them both up, the Story of Motherhood airbrush legging is slightly wider compared to the new airbrush leggings. The overall rise height for both of these definitely going to be higher in rise by about an inch. The waistband more tapered in. The front rise height for both of these up to the waistband is going to be the same, and then the rise height from the waistband stitching to the top is the same. The thigh area is going to be a lot tighter, and when I took these out of the package, I was like, they look a lot smaller, and this is a large, and so is this. The 7-inch inseam length everyday airbrush contrast. The thigh area seems forgiving. This is more of a like straight cut. General measurements, the top of the waistband is coming in close to 10 inches, about 9.5 inches, a little under 4 inches, at about 9 inches. Back rise height, we have 11.5 inches. It is about 5.5 inches. Oh no! Oh my gosh. Ugh. The stitch quality, no, I'm not gonna be able to wear these. All right, I'm telling y'all right now, these already leave a really bad impression on me. It's probably from the obviously it's from the manufacturer, but like looking at that back waistband, you can see again, it's flat, and then over here, it kind of looks like they folded it down where they should have like moved the fabric up more so it doesn't lay really flat. And I found an error for the stitch quality. Well, that sucks because I can't wear these because these will definitely run. So, I mean, I'll definitely message the team about this, but yeah, that's not cool. All right. These look great if I'm standing still, but if I'm actually moving around, bending over, they just keep rolling down on me. So tapered in at the waist. So right off the bat, these are really snug. I would recommend sizing up if you're gonna get these, if you have a body type similar to mine, because they're really tight in the thighs. Part of the reason why they feel even more tight on the thighs is because of the pocket. So the pocket adds a little bit more compression, and I feel like it's pulling the fabric from the back. High compression and support, but they're a little bit too compressive for me and my personal preferences. Like, I feel very constricted. I don't have any give. They're pretty tight. With it like rolling down, it sits here on my butt, and I'm not in preference for that. I think the glute rise for the back is pretty short. These aren't super flattering on the butt because they really squish me down, and they don't give any like extra shaping. Airbrush fabric is really durable. It's very slick. It's great for any kind of exercise, high intensity interval training, running. In the darker color, it will conceal sweat pretty well, and it will wick away sweat very easily because airbrush fabric is very slick. It's a high performance fabric. The way that it's pulling at my front area, it's not very flattering, and even if I did size up, I still think the thighs would be too tight, and then the waistband is just not in my preference because of how low it dips in the back, partially because I have a big butt, but it's just not there for me. If you have a lean body type, I would say stay true to size. If you are curvy like me, you definitely want to size up. So I am going to message the team about the waistband, that fold, and then the stitch quality. And then I'm going to request for a bigger size just to kind of play around and see if that works better. So if y'all follow me on Instagram in my stories, I will give y'all an update on the fit. Overall, these are just not it for me. Y'all know me, I'm not a big fan of airbrush. I just don't think that the Buffbunny collection team has really hit it home with any airbrush leggings yet. There's just several things with each pair that come out that I'm just not in preference for. So I'm gonna just give these a 5 out of 10 and say right off the bat, these left a really bad impression on me with the manufacturer like quality control issues that I went over in the UpClose review. And the overall fit is just too tight. I don't like how it comes down in the bottom. These still slide down. It's just a slick feeling fabric. They're pretty sheer. The waistband rolls down, and the price point. I mean, these are $74, and if you take them out of the package and you see that defect with like the folding of the waistband and then some of the stitching missing, it's going to turn you off too. So yeah, these are definitely not it for me. I'll give them a 5 out of 10. The shorts I am a heck of a lot more happy with. In the comparisons, I did show that the thigh width for the shorts was a little bit wider compared to the leggings. They are definitely thick thigh friendly. The shorts leave a way better impression on me. I don't mean to be negative. I'm just trying to present to you everything that I notice for these bottoms. So, okay, I think even in the waistband, because the thighs aren't so freaking tight, the waistband isn't pulling down. It still does roll down a little bit, and it still does dip down in the back compared to the front. But overall, I think without the defects and everything, they fit better because they're a little bit more roomy in the thighs. On this thigh, it might be a little bit harder to see, but the fabric just simply sits on top of my thick cellulite, and so I don't think it compresses it down. The pockets are pretty good and durable. Overall, I'm going to have to rank the Everyday Airbrush Contrast Shorts a 8.5 out of 10 compared to the 5 out of 10 that I gave the leggings, but I would highly recommend trying out the shorts. Next up, we have the beautiful Boyfriend Cloud Joggers. This is coming in 3 different colors, and the team doesn't have any fit updates listed on the PDF. And there is an inseam length difference between a size extra, extra small, medium, and large that are going to be listed on the side. They're cuffed with an elastic band at the bottom, so like fold these under for the length or let them be a little scrunchy at the bottom. The waistband also features that same elastic band that is adjustable with these drawstrings. The drawstrings have Buffbunny engraved into them, silicone kind of feeling pockets that aren't super deep. The stitch quality is polished where the lining is really well done. It doesn't stretch with the fabric, hold very well in place. Embroidered Buffbunny collection emblem, and then in the back, nice and simple. So I'm going to compare them to the original Cloud Joggers. These are both a size large. The waistband for both of these is going to be exactly the same. Lining up the crotch gussets, the new Boyfriend Cloud Jogger is actually about an inch higher in rise height. From the back, the total rise height for these is going to be about the same. I wore these quite a bit, so you can tell they're a little bit more worn, but they feel exactly like the same density, the same stretchiness. General measurements: front rise total 14.5 inches at about 14 inches. The thigh area is coming in at about 13.5, or back rise height is coming in at around 16.5 inches. These are definitely an oversized boyfriend, like just relaxed fit. I do love them. I definitely think right off the bat, you could go true to size, or you could size down if you want a little bit more of a feminine look. These are pretty long. So again, for the size extra, extra small, medium, and large, there is like a 1 inch increase in inseam length. So these are scrunched up, and I like that for fashion, but just kind of showing you the difference. If I fold it and roll it up, these are pretty long. They definitely pill. They are going to show sweat in the lighter colors. So in the black, you're going to be totally fine, but they are not going to wick away or dry sweat readily because it's a warm, dense fabric. I think stay true to size or size down, just because they are like pretty big and cozy. So overall, I love these so much. I'm so happy that we have more cloud, especially in the beautiful brighter colors. This and the purple, chef's kiss. I'm going to have to rank these a 9.5 out of 10. The only thing I'm not in preference for is that I wish that they did have zipper closure for pockets, because I think that would just give it that perfect polished look. I do want to mention that the athletes have a communication platform where we openly discuss the new pieces and any kind of issues that we might be having, any fit updates that we have noticed and whatnot. So Flirty Flo shorts are not my thing. If y'all know me and you've seen my reviews, I don't think that they're for sexy curvilicious ladies. I think they are intended for the lean body type, long distance runners, which is totally fine. I think every single piece could be worn by anyone, but work best for specific body types. So the Flirty Flo shorts are two-toned. For the black ones, they're like black, and then the inner liner, I believe, is like a lime green. Athletes have expressed that the black dye has ran onto the shorts liner as they wash them. So I'm just being completely transparent. You know, we work hard for our money. I want you to know exactly what you are getting. I bring this up because I have a tip in order for y'all to avoid any color bleeding from the shell onto shorts liner. So my advice, if you are going to get these Flirty Flo shorts, if you love them, if they work great for you, cool. I would highly recommend taking the Flirty Flo shorts and then separating the shorts liner compared to the outer shell down on the waistband. So I would roll the waistband downwards. That way the whole bottom half is like the outer shell, and then the top half is that lime green color. And then I would soak this or rinse it down with really hot water. That is going to allow the residual dye that is left onto the fabric to wash out. Then I would probably rinse off this color, you know, thoroughly with hot water as well. So that would be my main tip for you to wash these without having the outer shell color bleed onto the shorts liner. So I just wanted to share that tip because I'm not a fan of the Flirty Flo shorts, but I do want to express that to y'all who do like them and who do order them, because I think it's important for you to know just kind of general care on your activewear and how to avoid any kind of color bleeding. To save myself time, I am not going to go over honorary mentions or other items that I did not choose to receive, but I would highly recommend to look at your favorite athlete's Instagram page or Instagram stories. A lot of times the athletes will share a link to the upcoming collections PDF, and or if you are not a part of the Buffbunny Collection Instagram community broadcast channel, I would highly recommend to head over there, hype up your community, hype up the Buffbunny Collection girls who really put in a lot of work as content creators. Being a content creator is not easy, especially if you work a 9 to 5 and you volunteer and all that jazz. So I would highly recommend to support all the Buffbunny Collection athletes. If you want, you can head over to the Buffbunny Collection Instagram page. They follow all of their exclusive athletes, so you can head over there, and I would highly recommend to find an athlete who most resembles your body type, because I think that their perspective is always like the most helpful. And then follow other athletes that you relate to, or that you like their perspective on reviews. Just try to support us as much as you can. Even just leaving a like really supports us with the algorithms, really supports us with our journey with Buffbunny Collection and our growth with the team. My favorite items from this entire collection are definitely the cloud set, especially in this lima bean color. If y'all know me, I am a hoe for bright colors, so when I saw the like neon, almost neon green lima bean color, I was like, definitely gonna get that. My second favorite item from the entire collection, it is going to have to be the Revolution Candy Wrap Sports Bra. I think that the darker color in print has a little bit more support. My favorite bottom from this entire collection, the Nile Hustle Legacy Pocket Leggings. I love a legging with some pockets. Like, we need, comfort, we need cute, we need functional. So very happy with that. My least favorite item from this entire collection, if you watched parts or all of the review, it's definitely going to have to be the Everyday Airbrush Leggings. If y'all know me, if you've been following me and watching my reviews for a little bit, airbrush fabric for leggings is just not my thing, and I wanted to give these an extra try, but I think that in everything, they're just not great for sexy curvilicious ladies, and there were some defects from the manufacturer that really just turned me off from the item, so taking it out of the package, it was quite honestly just disappointing. It's cute, but it's not in my preference, is the best way to put it. If you made it to the end, I want to sincerely thank you for being here, for watching my review. If you could please show me some love and support by liking this video, commenting something nice, asking a question if you have it, or if I missed anything, definitely point it out. I'm not perfect, I know I'm detailed, but there are a lot of things that I miss because I haven't been with the brand too long. So there may be changes from the original form of like Purple Swirl compared to now that I don't know. You can also head over to my Instagram page and give me a follow there. If I exchange for a different size, I will always give a little update on my Instagram stories, and a lot of times I will do little Instagram review videos in my stories. I truly think that the community showed out with this collection, and the Buffbunny Collection team was really receptive to hearing all the customers' feedback. I fully intend a lot of these items to sell out, so I would highly recommend to join the Buffbunny Collection community broadcast channel, where if there is any early access as code, the Buffbunny Collection team will share it over there. And I just want to say and reiterate again that this collection is the community collection. It embodies the ideas, the great design suggestions, the colors, the intention and embodiment of our whole community, which is bright, it is fun, it is playful, and I'm just very happy with it. So I want to thank y'all for participating in the consumer and community feedback and allowing the team to create these beautiful pieces, and I just can't thank y'all enough for that. But this whole collection, I think, really has pieces for everybody, and yeah, I'm just appreciative of it. So anyways, I'm yapping, so thank y'all again, and I'll see you next time.